I'm Felicia,
And I'm Ian.
and we are the Paranormal Lovers.
Hello, paranormal dudes, dudettes, and dudes. Welcome back to another episode of the Paranormal Lovers.
Hey guys,
Hey, guys.
welcome back. Thanks for joining us for another week, episode 118.
Wow.
That's a lot. We have my least favorite topic this week for you, occult.
Cults.
But before we get into that, let's get the business out of the way. If
Okay.
you are a fan of history and learning that was deliberately left out of U.S. history books, give our show Rethinking a History a listen. Rethinking Our History a listen. Stories of people and events that help shape the world today. Stories that some in power want hidden so the truth of how they got their power stays hidden. If you would please be so kind, give us a like and follow on social media, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. We also have videos of each episode on YouTube, so please subscribe there as well. If you use Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please leave us a 5-star rating and review. If you would like to support the making of the shows, we have two ways to do so. First, we have the merch shop at theparanormallovers.threadless.com. There you can get your hands on all kinds of merch for your home and to wear, and we have a sale, $13 tees, $15 V-necks, and tank tops, and everything else is on sale until August 13th. Sorry, my brain blanked.
If anybody's got one of those skateboards, let me know how it works out. I might get one.
Yes, I'm gonna go get a skateboard so Ian knows what it's like. So then I can get him a skateboard for Christmas. We also have a Patreon where for $5 a month, you get early access to unedited videos of both shows and bi-weekly. We're gonna do it every other week, not every week. I can't do another every week show.
Right.
Of our new show, Why Do Men? Where we look at stories of men doing terrible shit and ask ourselves, why are they like this? You'll also get swag and other shirts and stickers from time to time. And finally, if you have a personal story, be it true crime, paranormal, or historicals, you have questions about advertising, or you want to be a guest on the show, email us at theparanormallovers@yahoo.com. So, Bill, what did you love about this week?
Haven't thought about it this week. I
I know you
had a class at
I was
work.
going to say you had a fairly easy
Like,
week at work.
Yeah. Like, we're slow at work right now, so they sent me to a class to learn.
How many certificates do you have now?
I don't know. I've got quite a few.
I'd say at least like 10.
There's one for, each type of machine in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's got
Like each type of press. Then you got like the cranes, you got like
Yeah.
forklift
Yeah.
license, like all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I want to get my forklift license back. I miss driving a forklift. It was real fun.
Driving a forklift is fun.
It's so much fucking fun. Listen, ladies.
When I first met Felicia, I about flipped one because I was trying to be cool in front of her, and I just like slid in front of her real quick, and the forklift tipped up on two wheels. I'm a crazy guy.
It's funny. One time I was driving one.
Why do men do that?
Why do men? I was going to pick up some rope packs, and I like come hauling ass down the aisle, and I like skirt right in and just bloop, put my forks in and lift the rope packs up. And somebody looked at me and they were like, "Josh Daly taught you how to drive, didn't he?" It's like, maybe.
And then Shelly.
Shelly. I miss Shelly so much.
I miss Shelly too.
He was great.
He was the better half of that couple.
Mm-hmm.
What do you like about this week? Sorry.
I'm just sitting here staring at him like, I don't know. This week was kind of rough because like I'm adjusting back to school schedule. School starts next week.
Yeah.
I will be excited to meet the teacher tomorrow.
Yeah.
See who Patty's gonna have for second grade, you guys.
That's crazy.
We're in second grade. Like, holy fucking shit.
Wait till high school hits.
I do not remember my second grade teacher at all.
Be like, damn.
I remember my kindergarten teacher, and I remember my third grade teacher because she took my braids out and brushed my hair and fucked it up. And then mama had to come up to the school and have words with her.
Shoo. That's why the fuck
Yeah.
did she try brushing your hair?
She didn't like how nappy it looked.
That's
Because, like, my mom would,
borderline racist.
well, she was black,
Oh,
which it is borderline racist because she assumed my mother wasn't taking care of my hair because she was a white lady. But,
right.
like, my mom would take my hair out on Sundays. She would wash my hair out, and then we'd sit down and watch football, and she would braid it. And I would keep
Yeah.
my braids in all week. And I think it was like a Wednesday or Thursday. They had started get looking beraggled.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Well, I'm going to fix your hair." And she ended up like messing it up because I don't have just black people hair. Like, I don't have really that kinky curly hair. I have wavy hair, I have straight hair, I have that kinky curly hair. I have multi-textural hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mama went off on that lady.
I bet so.
She went off. Off. Thankfully,
I
Patty
know
looks
we
fresh.
probably would if a teacher did that to Patty's
I'm
hair.
telling you what, any teacher touches my child's hair, I got a baseball bat in my car. I will Tanya Harding your ass. Don't touch my child's hair. Ho, 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 ho. Whew. All right. You know how I am about Patty's hair.
Me and you both.
I mean, it's been what, 7 years now, and I'm like, your mom's just now getting used to doing Patty's hair a little bit
Yep.
because I was just like, nope, stop.
Yeah.
We'll do it for you. It's fine. Don't even worry about it.
I mean, you have to do it a certain way, or it
You
just
do.
doesn't work.
When you got those perfect ringlet curls and you want to keep her with those perfect ringlet curls, you really have to take care of it a very specific way, or
Hmm.
it just ruins the texture of her hair.
You have to have the product
Um,
too. She puts a lot of product in her hair,
I don't know if
but it's
she
all
ever listens
conditioner.
to any of these episodes, but shout out to my friend Jennifer Queen. If anybody's around and need to get your hair done, Jennifer Queen's the girl. She does curly girl hair and everything. She's the one that cut Patty's hair and straightened it for her the other day. So thank you, friend. All right, folks. Oh, God. It's not super bad this week, but my next episode's really going to suck balls.
Yeah.
We're going to take a journey this week and again in 2 weeks. If you are here, it is safe to say you probably know the names Jim Jones and Jonestown.
Mm. Yep.
After the lives of nearly 1,000 people were lost in the rainforest of South America, these names became the most well known and talked about cult probably in the world.
Yeah.
Just look at how we still talk about people drinking the Kool Aid today. Though technically it was Flavor Aid, not Kool Aid. Not that that matters. Didn't even get him Kool Aid. He got him fucking Flavor Aid.
The knockoff brand.
This town and its residents were best known for the mass suicide orchestrated by their leader, Jim Jones. And I know you've heard of this cult, Bill, but how much do you actually know about Jim and the cult?
Not a lot.
No, you just know like what they're known for.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard that, said millions of times.
Don't drink the Kool Aid.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Don't
But
drink the Kool Aid. People drinking Kool Aid right now, and it's not great.
yep.
Well, let's start at the beginning. Jim Jones was born James Warren Jones on May 13th, 1931 in Crete, Indiana.
Indiana.
Indiana, that's where Aaron was from.
Aaron.
His parents were James Thurman Jones and Lynette Putnam, who were of Welsh and Irish descent. Jim and his mother would both claim to have native ancestry as well, but there has never been any proof of that. Jim looked black. Jim kind of looked black. There's some pictures where it's like, yeah. Side quest.
Do you think he wasn't like the dad's?
No, he was probably his dad's, but like, let me do the side quest real quick.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I've said this before, but let me repeat myself. And I think this is what they were going with. Maybe not the Cherokee particularly. The Cherokee did not and do not have kings and queens. Therefore, if your family tries to tell you that your grandmother was a Cherokee princess, ask them which one of your ancestors owned slaves.
Right.
Because 95% of the time, those who claim they were indigenous are trying to distance themselves from their black ancestors who became their ancestors by force.
Right.
So I don't know what was in his DNA history. We're never going to fucking know what was in Jim Jones's DNA history.
Yeah.
But it's more than likely there was black people instead of Unless you're like I'm so sorry to people, the Mulligans,
Mhm.
McGulligans. I'm not sure how to say it, but it's like a race of people, especially in Appalachia, that were like of European native black ancestry, and they have like very specific facial features.
Mhm.
The Appalachian son that I follow on Instagram from
Yeah.
South Carolina, he is a descendant of them.
Hmm.
He's got like the nose and the ears. It's interesting.
No, wait, did they have, indigenous slaves back then?
What do you mean?
Like, among the slaves that people kept back then, did they keep indigenous people too?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh yeah. And indigenous people had slaves too because they fell into white supremacy,
Right.
you know. So even though they treated, I will say 9 times out of 10, the indigenous folks treated their enslaved people a hell of a lot better than white people ever
Oh, I'm
considered treating
sure.
them. James was a disabled World War I veteran due to breathing problems caused by chemical attacks. He did odd jobs around the town to try and make ends meet, as the pension did not. The financial issues led to marital problems, and in 1934, the family was evicted due to failure to pay their mortgage. Relatives bought
Ugh.
the family a shack to live in, and I mean a shack.
Oof.
It had one room, no running water or electricity. Um, Fun fact, I don't really know if she talks about it sometimes too. So, a friend of mine, she'll know who she is if she ever hears this. Grew up like that, and now she like owns her own house. Uh, your friend's cousin that I tried to hook them up, and then I was like, oh shit, they're related. Never mind. Whoops. And I'm sure the living conditions did not help James's issues at all. And if that the fact that the family tried to farm to make ends meet, James's health continued to get worse. They would also struggle to buy enough food and would often have to resort to foraging in the woods to be able to feed everybody. Lynette is who I blame for most of this. It is said she, quote, had no maternal instinct at all, end quote. Listen, folks, I have no fucking maternal instinct, okay? I mean, I do. I have like the instinct to protect my child and make sure she's cared for,
Right.
but like that bonding thing isn't really there for me, and it's something I really have to I don't know what the word is. I really got to try at it.
Mhm.
Lynn just didn't fucking care.
Yeah.
She just did not fucking care. When Jim started school, the extended family threatened to cut off financial support unless Lynn got a job outside of the house. With her out of the home working and James regularly in the hospital, Jim was often spotted walking around town, sometimes naked.
Hmm.
There were aunts and uncles who lived nearby and watched over him some, but often it was the neighborhood women who took Jim in and cared for him. One such woman was Myrtle Kennedy, the wife of the pastor of the local Nazarene church.
Hmm.
She gave him a Bible and encouraged him to follow the holiness code of the Nazarene church. As he grew up, Jim visited most of the local churches regularly, even being baptized at several of them. Listen, I got baptized twice. Once because I was like, well, I don't want to go to hell. So I got baptized. And then the second time, I was like, Jesus is my savior. So I got baptized. This
Right.
motherfucker's just like, yeah, I'll get baptized. Sure. Oh, you want to get back? You want me to get back? Sure. Like, what? Dude, chill.
Right.
This is where Jim's lifelong devotion to religiousness stemmed from, or so it seems. It is debated whether Jim was religious at all, but at this age, he seemed to take it to heart. He developed a desire to become a preacher, practicing in private in his room. His mother even tried to ban him one time from the Pentecostal church when she found him imitating the preacher in his bedroom.
Hmm.
Like, it's weird, but also it doesn't seem at this point to be that unhealthy, like considering what kids could be getting into.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It would be concerning. I would be concerned.
Yeah.
While the community had sympathy for the child, they could also tell there was just something off about him. At a young age, Jim showed an obsession for religion and death. He would regularly visit a casket maker in town and would have funeral services for roadkill. One neighbor even claims that Jim killed a cat just to be able to hold a funeral service.
Well,
He would rarely be able to convince other kids to join him and would have them alone. So that's not good.
no.
That having funeral services for roadkill by yourself.
Killing animals.
Jim was also pretty young when he started claiming to have special powers. Once he jumped off of a roof to prove that he could fly to other kids. Even with a broken arm, Jim still claimed to have special powers. He would get other kids to join him, putting them in dangerous situations, telling them he was being guided by the angel of death.
Right on.
Sir,
Some Slayer shit.
kid, kid, kid,
Kid.
kid. According to Jones, later in life, he did many sacrilegious things as a youth. He claimed he did things like put cow shit in a preacher's Bible and would replace holy water with his urine.
Oh man. Sounds like me as a teenager.
I mean, listen, there's some people I read about that I'm like, "Wow, I really could have went either way. I could have went either way. I'm really glad I turned out this way because
I really wanted
what?
to do the dog shit in a bag thing when I was a kid. Like ring somebody's doorbell.
I'm pretty sure I did that, or my brother did it, and I was there. I don't remember.
I,
Wayne, did we do that?
I
No.
ding dong ditched a lot, but like I never did the dog shit because I didn't have a dog. I had cat. My mom had cats, so
I mean, cat shit would have been funny too, especially
yeah.
like take some of the pee litter, and put it in there. So nasty. A biographer of Jones's believed he acted out this way because he could not make friends, acting out to get attention because even bad attention was attention.
Right.
While the community thought he was strange, it was other actions they took serious issue with. Quote, he frequently stole candy from merchants in town. His mother was required to pay for his thefts. Jones regularly used offensive profanity, commonly greeting his friends and neighbors by saying, "Good morning, you son of a bitch," or "Hello, you dirty bastard." End quote.
Hey, fuck face.
What's up, son of a bitch?
I'll start doing
And I
that at work.
hate that I almost feel like I would have loved this kid. Like if some kid was like, "Good morning, cunt," I'd be like, "Sup, you little shit." Like, you know what I mean? I probably would have loved this kid. Although Lynn herself was known to use vulgar language and laugh when people reacted, she beat her son with a belt for the similar behavior.
Mm,
As Jim got older, his interests grew in the same direction they do for many cult leaders. He began to read works about Hitler, Stalin, Karl Marx, and Gandhi,
right on.
which Gandhi was not great either, honestly.
Yeah.
He liked to kiss children on the mouth.
Ugh.
It's weird. He once said Mao Zedong, no idea who the fuck that is, was his hero, and he would spend hours at the library before bringing home several books to read.
I think it's probably a North Korea dictator. I think.
Probably. At this
I could be
point,
wrong.
he did not himself have any radical political views, but as World War II started, Jones became more intrigued with the Nazi Party,
Oh no.
but more so the idea of communism,
Right.
which, like, it's not the dirty word people think it is.
No, it's not
It
actually.
just gets used really fucking badly. This troubled his community even more as he began to be Hitler when he played with the other children.
All right.
He'd like lock them up, pretending they were in concentration camps and shit.
What the fuck?
Once, when POWs were being transported through their town to detention, Jones yelled Heil Hitler and gave a Nazi salute as they passed. They were German
Great.
POWs, FYI. So that's great.
It's horrible.
Once in an interview while talking about his childhood, Jones stated, quote, I was ready to kill by the end of the third grade. I mean, I was so aggressive and hostile, I was ready to kill. Nobody gave me love and understanding. In those days, a parent was supposed to go with a child to school functions. There was some kind of school performance, and everybody's parent was there but mine. I'm standing there alone, always alone. End quote.
Dang.
Which is like sad.
Yeah.
Two things can be true. Child Jim had a very hard childhood.
Right.
Jones was a sick fuck.
Yeah.
Both are true. Totally random. Is Star in the house?
Yes.
Okay, I keep hearing Chewy barking, and I just want to make sure.
You're good.
Another biographer, Tim Ritterman, believes Jim's obsession with religion stemmed from a deep desire to have a family. Because, like, his dad was in the hospital and his mom was a cunt.
It was all alone.
In 1942, Jones spent the summer with a family who attended a religious summer convention at least 4 times a week. Not sure what else Jones was exposed to during that summer away, but his behavior was worse upon his return. He once described in great detail sex and the reproductive process to other neighborhood children. This upset the other parents, and they went to his mother to ask her to control her child, but she couldn't be bothered. Since she wouldn't be a parent, other parents just chose to keep their kids away from him.
Right.
As Jim got into high school, his outcast status was set in stone. One thing he did that got him bullied relentlessly was dress in his summer best or his Sunday best every day for school and always carried a Bible with him.
Hmm.
You know that kid.
Yeah.
We all know that kid. I mean, maybe not today, but in the 90s, there was a couple of those kids.
Yeah.
They were real hardcore. The teacher saw him as a great student, but his own behavior made him stand out. Another strange thing about him is that he would not respond when spoken to. If he spoke to someone first, he would have a conversation with them, but if they spoke to him first, he just ignored them.
Hmm.
Like, I feel like I knew this guy in middle school.
Right.
Like, I'm picturing the halls of Waynesville Middle School. Like, I know this guy. And when he did speak to other students, it was more often than not to berate them for being teenagers. Seeing or hearing about his classmates drinking or smoking would have Jim basically preaching in the hallways. Even dancing set Jim off and would have him attempting to read the Bible with his classmates.
What the hell?
I'm telling you, I knew this kid.
Right.
Jones did not play sports, not because he couldn't, but because he quote unquote despised losing.
Football is the devil.
No, no, he despised losing.
Right.
So he chose to coach younger kids. It
All right.
is ironic to me that Jim was a fan of Nazis and his father was even a card carrying member of the Ku Klux Klan. But when he saw the prejudice black people faced at a baseball game in Indiana, he was deeply disturbed.
Hmm.
Jones butted heads with his own father often over this, claiming he once went years without speaking to him after he refused to let Jim's black friend into their house.
Wow.
The Joneses separated in 1945 and would eventually get divorced. Jones and his mother moved to Richmond, Indiana, where Jones graduated from Richmond High School. He graduated early and with honors in December of 1948. So he's smart.
Right.
He's real fucking smart. After the divorce, Jones and his mother lost their financial support from their extended family. Jones got a job at Reed Hospital in Richmond as an orderly. Everything you've heard this motherfucker do as a child up until this point, now he's going to work in a fucking hospital.
Damn.
He's coming to change your sheets. Watch out.
Right.
Um, while upper management had high regard for Jones, coworkers found some of his actions towards them and patients disturbing. While employed there, Jones met nurse Marceline May Baldwin. Marceline!
Marceline.
Marceline, y'all watch Adventure Time?
Adventure
Come on,
time.
grab your friends. Let's go to very distant lands. Check the dog and fin the human. Fun will never ends. Adventure Time. Sorry. Echo Leal, whatever. Jones left Richmond to attend Indiana University, Bloomington. He initially wanted to study medicine, but quickly changed his mind. While at university, he heard a speech from Eleanor Roosevelt about the plight of black people in the U.S. This was when Jones truly began to embrace the beliefs of communism and other much more radical political beliefs. Jones and Marceline got married on June 12th, 1949. They first lived in Bloomington, where Junes? Why do I want to call him Junes? Jones attended classes, and Marceline worked at a local hospital. Early in the marriage, the couple would fight over religious beliefs. Marceline was Methodist, and Jones was opposed to the segregation with that church. Because, yeah, you ever notice why we have AME churches, AME Methodist churches, African American churches, black churches? Because churches were segregated, folks.
Yep.
You couldn't even worship the Lord together. Lame. At first, the couple attended Full Gospel Tabernacle, but would switch to a local Methodist church for Sunday services. While they were attending church every week, in private, Jones was attempting to convert his wife to atheism.
All
So
right.
remember this as we go through all of the denominations that we're going to go through. Jones' abuse began early in their marriage. While it wasn't physical, he used psychological warfare against her early on, or while it wasn't physical yet. Quote, "Ooh, this was fucked up. One reoccurring tactic he used was to tell her one of her close friends or family members had suddenly died, and then comfort her over her loss, before finally admitting to her the story was untrue." End quote.
What the fuck?
I don't get it. I don't get it. In 1951, the couple moved to Indianapolis. Here, Jones took night classes at Butler University. He would eventually get a degree in secondary education in 1961.
Wow.
In 1951, after moving, Jones began to attend meetings of the Communist Party USA in Indy. This, of course, put a target on his back with the government. Jones claims his mother was harassed at work by the FBI after she attended a meeting with him. Jones became increasingly frustrated with the way communism was being portrayed in the US and decided he needed to quote unquote infiltrate the church.
All right.
In 1952, Jones told his family he was going to become a Methodist minister. He felt the church was ready for him to quote put real socialism in place, end quote.
What the hell?
Remember, he didn't like Methodist people in the way they segregated, but he's going to go become a Methodist minister.
Right.
Okay.
As
He,
an atheist.
as an atheist, he was surprised when he received the support of a Methodist district superintendent who was aware of Jones's communist views. The summer of 52, Jones was hired as a student pastor to children at Somerset Southside Methodist Church.
Oh man, that could have went so wrong.
Thankfully, it did. Kind of. Here, he was hoping to open a playground for children of all races. In 1954, Jones was fired from this church, officially for stealing money, but Jones claims the real reason was because he wanted to integrate his congregation. In 1953, Jones visited a Pentecostal latter rain revival in Columbus, Indiana. This sect was less traditional than other Pentecostal sects. While at the revival, a woman prophesied that Jones would be a new prophet.
Yeah.
With this declaration, Jones took the podium to deliver a sermon. I've come today. Are you looking at pictures of James Jones?
Yeah.
Oh, he was a wild looking motherfucker.
Yep.
Feeling like he would have a better
There's one of
chance.
what's her face too?
What's her face?
His wife.
Marceline.
Yep.
Feeling like he would have a better chance at becoming a preacher with the latter rain movement, Jones convinced his wife to convert to the Pentecostal church. Jones began attending and preaching at Laurel Street Tabernacle, a Pentecostal Assemblies of God church in Indianapolis. He held revivals there until 1955 and would travel to speak at other churches within the movement. The Assemblies of God were opposed to the Latter Rain movement, and in 1955 they assigned a new pastor at the Laurel Street Church who enforced their ban on healing revivals. You remember healing revivals, don't you, Bill?
You are healed.
In the name of Jesus. Jesus, save the soul. Sorry. Y'all, I grew up in the South. I don't know what to tell you. I've been to a lot of revivals.
Yeah.
This is when Jones decided to open Wings of Healing, which would later be renamed the People's Temple. At first, he had only 20 followers and would take random jobs like selling pet monkeys to fund his vision.
So weird.
Oh, the fucking 50s.
There's like
You want a
3
pet
or 4
monkey?
pictures of him with monkeys.
That was when he was selling pet monkeys.
Yep.
Because you could have a fucking pet monkey back then.
Yep.
He also began to look for ways to market his new church. Jones found another denomination to attach himself to, the Independent Assemblies of God. I'm guessing this is yet another offshoot, but this time from the Assemblies of God, who broke off because they did embrace the Latter Rain movement. The IAOG had very lax requirements for their ministers and embraced healing revivals. June of 1955 would see the first in a long line of healing revivals held by Jones and William Branham, the healing evangelist and Pentecostal leader. In 1956, Jones was ordained a minister in the Latter Rain movement and the IAOG. He grew in popularity in both organizations and in June of that year held another healing revival. Hoping to grow large crowds, Jones once again partnered with Branham. Branham.
Branham.
His fucking name is Branham. It's probably like Branham or something,
Brownham. Branham.
but I say shit phonetically, so he's
Branham.
Branham. All I can think about it is like somebody taking bran flakes and like putting it on a ham. Branham had a quote unquote gift that allowed him to know and recite people's names, addresses, and their reason for attending the revival, all before he declared them healed, of course. Jones was intrigued by this and began to do the same. At this particular revival, Branham endorsed Jones by saying, quote, God used the convention to send forth a new great ministry, end quote.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. Quick side note, the research called these events conventions, but around here we've always called them revivals.
Right.
So I'm just going to use revivals unless it's in a quote. After the endorsement, okay. After the endorsement, people believing Jones had supernatural powers and his public desire to integrate his congregation, membership at the People's Temple grew by over 1,000 people. This is also
Mm.
around the time the name of the church changed. Though we call it the People's Temple, the full name was changed to the name it was changed to was the People's Temple Christian Church Full Gospel.
All right.
This was an attempt to tie his church to full gospel Pentecostalism.
And Pentecostals, man.
I will never not be able to spell Pentecostal again for the rest of my life. During the late 50s, Jones and Branham did several multi-state revival circuits. In 1957, the People's Temple held another revival headlined by Branham. Through these revivals and Branham's continued support, Jones was able to secure connections within the Latter Rain movement. One of the main tenets Jones took from Latter Rain and carried with him the rest of his life was, quote, the manifested sons of God, end quote. This is the belief that a person could become the physical manifestation of God with supernatural abilities. They believe that when these people's gifts begin to manifest themselves, it will herald the second coming of Christ. Those who inherit these gifts would, quote, usher in a millennia age of heaven on earth, end quote.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, dog's barking. I thought it was Patty like playing outside or something. Jones adapted this belief to promote his own ideals. By the late 60s, as you can guess, Jones began claiming he was a manifestation of, quote, Christ the Revelation, end quote. So here we go. We are divinity.
Yeah.
We are divinity. Colt, Colt check off again.
Yep.
While Jones and Branham were close for a while, Jones got many of his ideas from Branham. The two would have a falling out after a heated disagreement. While it is not known for sure what the argument was about, it is believed it could have been caused by Branham's opposition to communism. Another possibility was race. Branham believed in the serpent seed. This belief is, quote, a controversial and fringe Christian religious belief which explains the biblical account of the fall of man by stating that the serpent mated with Eve in the Garden of Eden and the offspring of the union was Cain. This result this event resulted in the creation of two races of people, the wicked descendants of the serpent who were destined for damnation, and the righteous descendants of Adam who were destined to have eternal life, end quote. Now I'm sure you can guess which races they believe came from who?
Right.
Can you guess?
Black ones came from Cain.
Oh my god! Since Jones was all about integrating his congregation, I could see this being a problem for him. Because one thing I will give to Jim Jones, I do believe he was truly, I do believe he truly felt strongly about integration and about black people and white people being treated equal.
Right.
I really think he just, I think he was one of those people kind of like, why? Why you think you're so special? Why?
Right.
Um, but then again, who knows? Maybe it was also another front, kind of like him being a minister of 15 different fucking denominations. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Who knows?
During this time with latter rain, Jones became aware of a man known as Father Divine. And I can
Father
imagine
Divine.
him saying, Father Divine.
Is that a ghost singer?
No. He is a black spiritual leader of the International Peace Mission Movement,
Oh shit.
IPMM. As you can imagine, most Pentecostal leaders were not a fan of Father Divine's because it's the 1950s and he's a black man who claims he's divine.
Right.
No. In 1956, Jones visited Father Divine's mission in Philly for the first time. He explained this visit was so he could, quote, give an authentic, unbiased, and objective statement about its activities to his fellow Pentecostal ministers, end quote. Also, funny little side quest, I made a new friend recently. Her name is Lauren, not the Lauren that I already have am friends with, different Lauren. She's from Philadelphia. And I said, "Oh, you went from the city of brotherly love to the city of brother, oh, where art thou?"
Yep.
Wow. Sorry, sis. At first, Jones publicly disavowed many of the father's teachings, but actually began to implement many of the mission's programs. They set up a soup kitchen and would give clothes and groceries to those in need. Within the temple, Jones began to promote communal living, which is one of Father Divine's things. In 1958, the year of my mother's birth, Jones visited the mission again to learn more about how Father Divine ran his church. When he returned, he began talking about how he'd like to be the father's successor. Sure would. He slowly began to introduce the father's disciplinary practices to his followers at the temple, practices they would follow all the way to the end. Jones had separated from latter rain and Pentecostalism and was looking for an organization that supported all of his beliefs, or at the least would leave him to run his church how he saw fit. This led to the temple joining the Disciples of Christ. Jones was assured they would accept all of his beliefs, and Jones was ordained by the DOC in 1964. So this is like the third time he's been ordained.
Wow.
In the middle and late 70s, the DOC received two separate reports of abuse at the People's Temple. They investigated both reports but found no evidence of abuse. The DOC found the People's Temple to be, quote, an exemplary Christian ministry overcoming human differences and dedicated to human services, end quote. I'm sure the 1.1 million doll hairs roughly 5 million USD today, that the People's Temple gave the DOC helped them ignore any evidence of abuse they may have witnessed.
I'm sure.
The People's Temple would be a part of the DOC until the massacre. This part made me chuckle because, like, who the fuck did this man think he was talking to? In 1960, Indianapolis Mayor Charles Boswell appointed Jones the Director of Local Human Rights Commission. The part that made me chuckle was that the mayor advised Jones to quote unquote keep a low profile. Motherfucker, who do you think you're talking to? This motherfucker goes on multi-state healing revival circuits. Do you know how wild and like far out there people that do healing revivals are?
Right.
Like, no offense to people who grew up in Pentecostalism, but they are wild.
Yeah, they are.
They are wild. Aren't they the ones that do the snake shit?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Huh. Wild. Jones said, I do what I want. He used his new position to secure spots on radio and TV shows to promote his ideas and his church. He was once again asked to tone it down with the public appearances, and once again, Jones said, I'm going to do it again. Watch this.
Right.
At this point, Jones is publicly a church leader doing all he can. Oh, this is probably the time I would have gotten wrapped up with this cult. There's a
Mhm.
few cults that would have got me. Charlie Manson probably would have got me because, like, drugs
Right.
and music.
All the acid you want.
At this point, Jones is publicly a church leader doing all he can to get black people the same rights and treatment as white people. Jones helped integrate churches, the police department, an amusement park, and even a hospital. Jones would do sting operations on restaurants who refused to serve black customers and would write letters to the American Nazi Party and give their responses to the media.
Hmm.
The hospital Jones got integrated, that happened after Jones collapsed one day and was hospitalized. Jones was quote unquote accidentally placed in the black ward.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying Jones didn't have any black ancestors, but this is like how racism affects everybody because they just like looked at him and went, oh yeah, he's got a big nose, he's a little tan, he's black.
Right.
Motherfucker, what? But that didn't bother Jones one damn bit. In fact, Jones took it upon himself to help care for the black patients by emptying their bedpans and making their beds for them.
Hmm.
It was these actions that sparked political pressure, which led to the desegregation of the hospital. So it's like, yeah, he probably would have sucked my ass right into the cult during this time.
Right.
Many people outside of the US probably, but also here too, think that racism is only a Southern issue. Like, it wasn't illegal for black people to live in Oregon for a really long time.
Right.
But Indiana is not immune to this either. One of our old bosses, A. Ron, told us how when he was growing up in Indiana, he'd see people fucking flying the Confederate battle flag everywhere, and he's like, y'all know where we live, right?
Right.
This is north, that's south. Okay. Well, in the 1960s, it was so much worse. The People's Temple and the congregation became targets of white supremacists. Some examples include, quote, a swastika was placed on the temple, a stick of dynamite was left in a temple coal pile, and a dead cat was thrown at Jones's house after a threatening phone call, end quote.
So, but didn't he like the Nazis though?
He liked communism
Right.
more so than the Nazis. I
Yeah.
think the Nazis was his gateway to communism.
Yeah.
But of course, these actions did not stop people from joining the temple. If anything, the fact that Jones stood fast in his beliefs, even in the face of worsening violence, probably attracted more members to the temple. Quote, by the end of 1961, Indianapolis was a far more racially integrated city, and Jim Jones was almost entirely responsible, end quote.
Wow. Hmm.
So it's like, I mean, give him his flowers for that. Thank you, Jim Jones, for integrating people. But
Right.
then you just hard left turn.
Pivot to the max.
Well, actually, and Jones truly practiced what he preached about integration. In 1954, the Jones adopted Agnes, who was part native. Or is it Agnes? Yep, Agnes. In 1959, they adopted three Korean American children, Lou, Stephanie, and Suzanne. They also encouraged temple members to adopt from Korea, which had been at war. Sadly, Stephanie died in a car accident at the age of 5 in May of 1959. In June of 59, the Joneses welcomed their only biological child, Stefan Gandhi.
Oh my God. That poor kid.
Yeah. In 61, they became the first white couple in Indiana to adopt a black child, naming him Jim Jones Jr. They adopted a white boy from a temple member who they called Tim. Later, Jones would father Jim John with another temple member.
Hmm.
By 1961, Marceline began to confide in friends that Jones was becoming paranoid. He warned his congregation that, guess, guess what he warned his congregation was going to happen.
I don't know.
Indianapolis was going to be destroyed by nuclear war.
All right.
It is believed he may have been inspired by a prophecy given by Branham that the U.S. would be destroyed in a nuclear war. In 62, Jones read an article claiming South America would be the safest place to survive a nuclear war. Jones
All
traveled
right.
down to scout out a new location for the People's Temple. Jones headed to Brazil but made a pit stop in Georgetown, Guyana. Here he held revivals before continuing to Brazil. There, the Jones family rented a three-bedroom house in Belo. While Jones tried to gauge the feeling of the locals to his ideas, he found the language barrier to be an issue. He tried to hide his communist views, instead preaching about an apostolic communal lifestyle, aka Christian communism.
Right.
In the middle of 63, the family moved to Rio de Janeiro, where they worked in the gums and sleddos. Slums and ghettos. While Jones was struggling to find a suitable place for the temple, he began to feel guilty for leaving the civil rights movement behind in Indy. Things at the temple were starting to fall apart too. Attendance was down to around 100 members a week, and with Jones having that money sent to him, the church back in the States began to suffer. In 1963, Jones received a letter from Archie James telling him the temple was close to collapse, and if Jones did not return, Archie was going to leave the temple. Reluctantly, Jones returned to Indiana in December of 63. When he returned, the church was divided. Jones was forced to sell and downsize the temple due to poor handling of finances, and he went back on the revival circuit to raise money. Thought in part to be a distraction from issues plaguing the church, Jones prophesied the world would be engulfed in nuclear war on July 15th, 1962, and they must move to Northern California for safety.
All right.
So here we go, checking off another cult leader box. Isolate your followers.
Yeah. Yeah.
In 1964, Jones traveled to California several times to find a suitable location for the temple. In July of 65, the People's Temple began moving to Redwood Valley, close to Ukiah. I think it's Ukiah. Russell Winberg was the assistant pastor for the People's Temple and was opposed to Jones moving the church to California. He warned the followers that Jones was straying away from Christianity to something dangerous. When Jones left for California, when Jones left for California with around 140 of his most loyal followers, Winberg stayed in Indiana with the rest of the congregation. In 1968, the California location was accepted into the Disciples of Christ. Jones used his membership as well as the name of some of the more famous members, such as Lyndon B. Johnson and J. Edgar Hoover.
Hmm.
They were members of the Disciples of Christ to draw
Right.
more people to his temple. Jones also used his position as a teacher for an adult high school to recruit new members.
Oh no.
Oh no. He would also plant temple members in the classes to help him recruit students.
Oh no.
Between convincing Indianapolis members to move and recruitment, Jones's California congregation grew to over 300 members by 1969. And this is when Jones reveals his own theological brand, apost- hmm, let's see, apostolic socialism. This theology was, quote, influenced by the teachings of William Branham and the Latter Rain movement, Father Divine's divine economic socialism teachings, and infused with Jones's personal communist worldview, end quote.
He just wanted communism to be a thing, huh?
He just wanted communism. He's like, I'm going to put all these religious stuff together, see if I can get people to come with my communism.
Right.
And he's the kind of person that gives communism a bad name,
Right.
you know? Excuse me.
It's not the Star Trek communism.
I either heard or saw something the other day that said capitalism is anybody can be rich, anybody can be poor. Socialism is anybody can be rich, but nobody should be poor.
Right.
Communism is nobody should be poor and nobody should be rich.
Right.
I'm all for socialism, folks. Anybody can be fucking rich, but nobody should be poor.
Right.
Not when we have 600 billionaires
Yeah.
on this planet that
Right.
could easily house, feed, and educate everybody.
Yep. I don't know. I kind of like Star Trek.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know, that I guess it was communism. It's like they didn't have money. Well, they didn't work off of money, really.
Mhm.
They had replicators, so everybody could get whatever they wanted.
Right. You would just like walk up to the damn food thing and be like, I would like a cheeseburger with fries. With
Yep.
ketchup and mustard and pickles and bloop, 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 there's your food.
They still had like leaders and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you have to
but
have,
it wasn't based off money.
I think, you love to talk about like getting rid of the federal government, which like the federal government that we have today and the way it is, yes, get rid of it.
Right.
But I think you still need a council of multiple people to control, not really control, but to just like
Think up a good ideas.
keep things, I don't know, copacetic. I don't know what the fuck word I'm looking for. All
Right.
right.
And that was the Federation
Yeah.
in Star Trek. Like, they were like, hey, this is what should be done. We're all gonna take a vote on it and you get it done. But
And yeah, your fucking vote should matter. 300 people shouldn't decide who the fuck the president is
no.
when you have over 3 billion people in this country.
Yeah.
Jones kept his communist views to himself until he had his most devoted followers in California. By the early 1970s, Jones began to speak out against traditional Christianity. He claimed that people who went to traditional churches were asleep, and the only way to wake them up was with socialism.
Oh no. The woke.
Don't wake them with the socialism. No. This is why I'm like, okay, hang on. I'm not done yet. He began calling Christianity a quote unquote flyaway religion and claimed the Bible was a tool to oppress minorities and women. And I'm like, I'm nodding along when I'm
It's
reading
true.
this shit because I'm like, he's not wrong.
No.
He's not wrong. Like, I identify as a pagan, but I still fuck with Jesus. I just don't fuck with the religion created in his name to control people. You know what I mean?
Right.
And also, like, socialism is what we need to wake people up.
Kinda, yeah.
We need
Jim Jones
socialism.
was the first woke.
Jim Jones had some shit right.
He was woke, y'all.
But then, like, while I believe in a creator, Jim Jones felt like he was the creator.
Right.
He
And that's
told-
not right.
No. He told his congregation, quote, I am come as God's socialist, end quote. I had to read that
Alright.
like 3 or 4 times to make sure I was typing that right. I am come as God's socialist. Okay, Jim.
We all were come at one point.
Oh, he's also not wrong. While Jones was very careful not to talk openly about his divinity in public, within the temple, Jones would say, quote, "What you need to believe in is what you can see. If you see me as your friend, I am your friend. I'll be your friend. If you, as you see me as your father, I will be your father for those of you that don't have a father. If you see me as your savior, I will be your savior. If you see me as your God, I'll be your God." End quote.
God of death.
You're not wrong. Further attacking Christianity, Jones circulated a letter calling King James an alcoholic and a slave trader. Again, not wrong.
Okay.
Again, not wrong.
Right.
Since the King James version of the Bible could not be trusted, a new prophet was needed to interpret God's teaching. Guess who that prophet would be?
Jim
But he
Jones.
is also the physical manifestation of God.
Or was it Hannum?
But he is also God. I don't know. While still technically a part of the DOC, he refused to follow the few tenets they had in place and refused their sacrament. Instead, Jones practiced the Holy Communion as practiced by Father Divine. Jones also created his own baptism program, baptizing people in the name of Holy Socialism.
You're now a socialist.
You have been cleansed in the fire of damnation. Jones would preach that sin came from being born in capitalist, racist,
Democracy be gone.
fascist America, and the only way to be free from sin is to be born into socialism. He likened American capitalism to Babylon in the book of Revelations.
You are purged from the republic.
Jones began to preach that more and more about the nuclear war that would destroy the country. He claimed the war would start with white supremacists putting brown and black people in concentration camps.
I mean, yeah,
I gotta say, I think if Jones had a better mother, he really could have done something good.
right.
Because, like, look around us. White supremacists are putting brown and black people in concentration camps.
Yeah,
When a cult leader's predictions start to come true, you know we got a fucking problem.
yeah, yeah,
We have got a fucking problem.
right.
But for the People's Temple, the answer was right in front of them. Jones would be the one to lead his people through the apocalypse. It would be his congregation that would create a heaven on earth.
Too bad they didn't go to Sweden.
I mean, thankful for Sweden.
Like, I watched a video on Sweden the other day, and they had like 370 something hidden bunkers that would house the whole population of the country in
That's
case of a
crazy.
nuclear war. I'm like, wow! I want to go check out the hidden bunkers.
Publicly, Jones would preach living the Acts of the Apostles as a cover for his desire to live in a commune. Jones was worried the US government would learn he still held his political views and that his church would lose their tax exempt status, which churches need to lose their fucking tax exempt status.
Yeah,
You are bringing in millions of dollars a year. If a church is bringing in that much money, you lose your fucking tax exempt status.
right.
While it is debated whether Jones actually believed in the divinity, I think it's pretty obvious he didn't, at least not after childhood.
Yeah,
I personally think he only did these things out of control. He may have felt some way about racism, but think he went so far as an act to draw people into him.
right.
Before long, Jones was preaching that the ends justified the means and that his congregation should do whatever they needed to help him achieve his goals. And this is where we're going to leave you this week, folks.
Oh,
Into part one. We got an Ian episode next week, and then the week after that, we will be traveling down to South America to a location where Jones will control every aspect of his followers' lives
yeah,
and their deaths.
crazy.
So, what do you think about the first half of Jim Jones here, Bill?
I think he was like searching for a way to do something,
I think he just wanted
because
love.
he like he just kept bouncing around. Like,
I think he wanted a place to belong
yeah,
and a place to be
people to
loved
love him,
because he didn't get that from his mother and
even
his
though
father.
I'm not sure if he knew really what love meant.
I mean, if you've never been given that love in your life, then how are you supposed to know what it is?
Right,
You replicate what you think people wanna see, what you think what love is supposed to look like,
right.
but you don't fucking know. But you don't know. And then this motherfucker spending time with, like, women, like, preachers' wives from the Nazarene church. He's spending the summer with a whole family that goes to a damn religious convention 3, 4 times a week.
But them women's kind of fucked up, anyways.
You ain't lying, okay.
Right.
They give me some real creepy vibes.
I mean, so in Waking Life, the movie Waking Life, they have a quote in there that is it's pretty good. The chick says, you can you can see a lot of different words like in your mind, like saber-tooth tiger right behind you. You know what that looks like,
Mhm.
you know, but like when a person says love, like there is so many different visualizations of what that can mean
Yeah,
that like does anybody really know what love is? You know? Like,
yeah.
you can kind of picture it, but, like
And I mean, that's been something that I've always kinda heard since I was a child is there's really no way to describe what love is because it is
yeah,
different for everybody.
yeah,
There are things that love should not be. Love should not hurt.
right,
Love should not make you feel like shit.
yeah,
Love does not belittle. It does not hit.
no,
Love does not abuse.
and I could see where, being in all these different religions gives him a real fucked up, like, thought of what love actually is,
Right.
'cause in religion, like, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, it's like he gets to be like the leader of all these denominations and oh, I'm a minister, so people are gonna love and respect me. And
Right,
it's like, are they though?
no,
Are they though? I don't think we will. All right, guys. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode and we hope you guys have a good week and we will see you guys next week.
be kind to each other.
Love you. Bye.
Love you guys. Bye.